All right, we're about to take the very first shots with the CMXX chambered in 45. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Alright, before we get into this first shots video, I want to get a few things out of the way real quick. EAA did send this CMXX out to the channel for a review. And the last thing, I want to talk about one of the biggest supporters of my channel, and that is Rise Armament. I've been using their AR-15 triggers for years, long before I started this YouTube channel, and they have been nice enough to provide my subscribers a 20% off discount code. And it works on everything on the website. So head over to their website and use this code right here to get 20% off your entire order. Now that we got that all out of the way, let's head out to the range and see what all we got on the menu today for the CMXX. All right, let's go over everything we got on the menu today for the CMXX. We've got some 230 grain FMJ CCI Blazer. We got some 230 grain FMJ Fiocchi range dynamics. I want to give a big shout out to Pursuit Armory. They supplied us with the 230 grain FMJ PPU ammo. They also provided us with the Arms Corps 230 grain FMJ and the Federal 230 grain. And while I was in the reloading room digging through my stash, I found an old box from 2013 of Tula 230 grain FMJ. So we're going to see if this gun likes steel cased ammo. So let's talk about how I've got this gun set up. For the optic, I've got the brand new Gowatar GP3 on here. This is another large window optic, but it has the RMSC footprint. And for the light, I went with the Surefire X300 Ultra. I really liked how it looked on the CMX, so I knew it was going to look really good on this one. Now, if you want to see what this gun looks like right out of the box, I've already done a full unboxing video on this gun. We went over all the specs, all the features, and everything that comes in the box. So I would suggest you go back and watch that video first before you watch this one, because all I'm going to do in this video is go over my first impressions with this gun, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and any problems that I had with this gun over the course of shooting this for 2 days. Now, if you don't want to go back and watch the unboxing video, I'm going to bring all the specs up on the screen, and you can pause it and check it out. Now, I was pretty excited to get my hands on this gun when EAA reached out to me and asked me to do a review on it. One, this gun is chambered in 45, which is still one of my favorite calibers of all time. And the second reason, I just did the review on the CMX chambered in 9mm, and it was just an absolutely awesome gun. So I was definitely excited to review this one. Now, the biggest difference between the CMX and the CMXX is the CMX does not have a compensated barrel, and the CMX only comes in 9mm. With the CMXX, they all have the compensated barrel, but you can get it in 9mm, 45 like I have here, and they're also coming out with a 10mm version, which should be coming pretty soon because they released the 9mm first, then this one, so I'm guessing this 10mm is shortly right behind this one. Now, there are quite a few videos out on this CMXX chambered in 45 already. And I've heard a few of the guys that have reviewed this gun say that this thing shoots as flat and has the same recoil impulse as a double stack 1911 chambered in 9mm without a comp. And I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. Now, this gun does shoot quite a bit flatter than a lot of my other 1911s that I have chambered in 45, and the recoil impulse is cut down a little bit. And that all has to do with this compensated barrel. But even with the compensated barrel, this gun does not shoot as flat as a double stack 1911 chambered in 9mm without a compensated barrel, and it definitely has more recoil impulse than a 9mm without a comp. But with that being said, this gun is an absolute blast to shoot, especially if you're a fan of 45 like I am. Now, I want to give a big shout out to one of my favorite creators here on YouTube, and that would be Mr. Big Kid. He did a review on this gun, and in that video, he was talking about the magazines. Now, the magazines this gun uses are Checkmate magazines. They are obviously a double stack magazine. They do have a metal body, got a plastic base pad on here, and a black plastic follower. But if you look here on the back of the mag, it says that it's an 11-round magazine. And even if you go over on EAA's website, it says it's an 11-round magazine. But it's not. It's actually a 12-round magazine. And not only is it a 12-round magazine, it's actually pretty easy to load that last round in the mag. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm glad that he pointed that out, because now instead of having 11+1, you got 12+1. Now, one of the biggest features on this CMXX that sets it apart from all the other guns in the Witness 2311 collection is that they did remove the grip safety. And like I said in the unboxing video, I'm glad to see it's gone. Never been a fan of grip safeties on 1911s, but you still have your safety here, and it is an ambi safety, and it works very well. The other massive improvement is just the grip module itself. Now, I have the Match X, which has a totally different grip module on it. It kind of reminds you of the old STI grip modules, but I really like this grip module, and I definitely like it a lot better than the old modules that they were using on the Witness 2311s. Now, the module itself has got a really nice sandpaper texture. It goes all the way from the magwell all the way up to the top. You've got that same stippling on the front, and then you have some really nice checkering here on the back. So I'm definitely a big fan of the grip module. So now let's talk about the materials of this gun and how this gun is made. So we've already talked about the grip module. The grip module is polymer. The frame on this is an aluminum frame, and the slide on this is obviously a steel slide. Now, we talked about the compensated barrel, and we really went into detail on that in the unboxing video, but the barrel and the comp are just one piece made out of the same piece of stock. The comp is not removable, but even though the comp and the barrel are one piece, this gun is extremely easy to take down and clean, and we went over that in the unboxing video. So now let's talk about mounting an optic on this gun. This gun is optics ready, and you can direct mount any optic with the RMSC footprint right to the slide. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I've got the Gowatar GP3 on here because I like a bigger competition size window when it comes to my double stack 1911s. But there are a lot of companies putting dots out now with big windows with the RMSC footprint. Now, if you choose not to put an optic on this gun, it does have a 2 white dot rear sight, and you have a fiber optic front sight, which I'm kind of surprised this is actually still on here, considering I've shot close to 500 rounds through this, and it's still on. My track record with fiber optic front sights is not too good. Now, if you do put an optic on this, you are going to lose that rear sight, so that's something you want to keep in mind. But you always have the option to get a dot that has a backup iron sight built into it like this. And if my glass on this wasn't so dirty right now, I'd actually be able to use the rear sight with my fiber optic front sight if the optic were to go down. Now the slide itself on this has some really nice serrations in the front and on the back. You do have some lightning cuts here on the front, and they are very grippy and very usable. During the 2 days at the range I was shooting this, I was just racking it with the optic. But it does have very nice usable serrations on it. Now let's talk about this magwell. It does have a big magwell on it, and it's nice and flared out. It's very easy to funnel those mags right into the gun, so they did a really good job on the magwell. So now let's talk about the trigger on this gun. We really dove into the trigger in the unboxing video, but in the CMX video, when I did the trigger pull weight on that, EAA states that the gun had a 4.5 pound trigger pull, and it actually did. In fact, it was the first 1911 or double stack 1911 I've got from EAA that the trigger pull that they stated was actually the real trigger pull on the gun. That was not the case with this CMXX. So the trigger on this is really nice. Very, very little take up. Right there's that wall, and you just get a nice clean break. 1911 triggers are my favorite triggers out of all guns. And the reset, very short, tactile and audible, and you get that nice clean break. My problem with this trigger was that they said it was a 4.5 pound trigger on the website on this gun as well, but it's not. We were getting pulls from 6 to 6.5 pounds. Now, like I said, I've got 500 rounds through this gun now. I got the Wheeler trigger pull scale, so I just want to see if it's lightened up at all. And that would be a negative. We're pulling at 6.25 pounds. Now, I don't want to harp on this too much, but when people get 1911s, they want a little bit of a lighter trigger pull than 6 or 6.5 pounds. Now, with that being said, it is a 1911 trigger, and even heavy 1911 triggers are still good triggers, but I think it's something that needs to be pointed out. I really would have liked to seen this one get down around that 4.5 pound mark, but now again, it's a 1911. There's so much aftermarket parts out there. You can do a trigger job on this, change the trigger, polish things up. There's a lot of things you can do with this to lighten that trigger pull up. But I do think it needs to be talked about that this trigger in this gun is heavy. So let's get into the pros and cons if you decide to pick up the CMXX. We already talked about the trigger. It's a little heavy. It works great. I didn't notice it a whole lot at the range, but it does have a heavy trigger pull. The second con with this is the fiber optic front sight. I have not lost this one yet, but I will lose it eventually. I have not had good luck with the fiber optic front sights on any of the Girsan firearms. I'd like to see them change the front sights eventually, you know, go to a front sight kind of like an XS sight or a night vision, something like that. But other than that, this one is still in here. My last con with this, malfunctions, and we're going to get into a little detail on this. So when I was showing you all the ammo I had on the menu for this gun, I showed you that I was going to run some Tula steel case through this, and it hates that ammo. I didn't try any other steel cased ammo, but when it comes to that Tula, it's a no-go in this. I was having all kinds of feeding issues with that ammo in this gun. So if you're going to run steel cased in this, it's probably not going to work. But the next ammo that I had problems with kind of surprised me a little bit, but it's also not the best ammo, and I have had issues with it in the past, and that is that PPU that I showed you. Now, it is a brass cased ammo, but it didn't run very well in this either. Kind of having the same exact issues with that ammo is what I was having with the Tula. But all the other ammo that I showed you on the menu, it all ran flawless in this gun. So then I was kind of thinking, well, maybe this has a break-in period. And when you look at this gun, it has extremely tight fitment, especially for a budget double-stack 1911. That slide on that frame is not rattling at all. I can't move it hardly at all. It's just a really nice tight fit. So I thought, okay, maybe we're going to just have to break this thing in with 100 rounds or so of ammo. So after I got about 300 rounds through this gun, I got that PPU back out, and I was still having issues with it. But the CCI Blazer, the Federal, the Fiocchi, it all ran flawless. So now let's get into the pros with the CMXX because, well, there's a lot of pros. And we've pretty much already covered all the pros. First pro with this is that compensated barrel. It works. It definitely tames that 45 down, definitely helps with the muzzle rise. It's a real joy to shoot. The next pro for me with this gun is you have that full length accessory rail, so you can fit any light you want on this. This Surefire X300 is the biggest light I have for a pistol, and it fits on here just fine. The next pro is that grip module and the fact that they eliminated the grip safety. And the magwell is pretty sweet too. My next pro, and probably my favorite pro of this gun, is the fact it's a double stack 45, and you can carry 12 rounds in the mag and 1 in the chamber. I think that's absolutely awesome. And my last pro with this gun is the price. This is coming in at an MSRP of about $11.50. So the street price probably going to be around $1,000, $1,050, which I think is a really good deal for a double stack comped barrel and chambered in 45. And I really hope EAA is prepared for how many of these they are going to sell in 10mm, because if you look through the comments section of my unboxing video, that's all everybody's talking about. And I really want to thank EAA for sending this out to the channel. They've been a big supporter of my channel for quite a while now, and they've provided some pretty awesome guns for some fun content. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.